Oh my gosh, this is so good. It's roller coaster. See, I told you you would like it.
You've always been there for me. Take this gift. It was made just for you.
Thank you. This is so beautiful.
In Lagos, where the streets never sleep and dreams burn brighter than neon lights, two young women walked side by side through life, laughing, crying, and carrying each other's secrets like shared treasure. They were so close that people often said, if you see one, the other is not far. But what no one knew was that in the quiet corners of their hearts, two different fires burned. One fire longed for peace, contentment, and the simple joy of love. The other burned with restless ambition, hungry to climb higher, shine brighter, and be greater than anyone else, even her best friend. And it was that fire that would one day turn a gift of love into a weapon of betrayal. Vanessa and Kem had shared everything since childhood: food, clothes, laughter, and even shame when poverty mocked them. Now in their 20s, Lagos had tested their bond but not broken it. Kem was calm, the kind of girl who found joy in little things. She worked as a secretary in a small logistics company on the mainland, her salary modest but steady. Vanessa was restless. She hated her job as a receptionist in a car dealership. Every day she watched rich women pull up in Range Rovers, dripping in diamonds, their voices commanding, their lives like something from Instagram. One evening, as they ate roasted plantain by the roadside, Vanessa dropped her corn cob and sighed loudly. Kem, tell me why God gave me this face, this body, this brain, and left me to suffer. Look at those women in jeeps. They don't have two heads. I can't die ordinary. Kem chuckled softly. Vanessa, good things take time. You can't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Contentment is also wealth. Vanessa frowned. That's why you'll stay small, Kem. Always satisfied with crumbs. But even as she said it, Vanessa's chest tightened with guilt. She loved her friend. Yet envy had begun to whisper inside her. One afternoon, Vanessa's boss asked her to accompany him to a networking event on the island. You have presence, he told her. You speak well. Just smile and represent the company. She borrowed a gown from Kem, fixed her hair, and for the first time entered a hotel ballroom in Victoria Island where the chandeliers sparkled like diamonds. The women there looked like goddesses, skin glowing, perfumes rich, clothes sharp. Vanessa stood by the corner, clutching a glass of juice, painfully aware that her shoes were cheap and her bag borrowed. It was then she noticed a group of women in one corner, surrounded by silent respect. People greeted them with lowered heads. Their laughter was calm but carried weight. One of them, tall, graceful, wrapped in golden silk, walked toward her. Her eyes were sharp yet welcoming. My dear, she said, her voice smooth as velvet. You don't belong by the shadows. You belong at the table. Vanessa's heart skipped. Emmy. The woman smiled knowingly. Yes. I see hunger in your eyes. Hunger for more. Am I wrong? Vanessa hesitated, then whispered, no. The woman slipped a golden card into her hand. When you are ready, come. The Golden Flame Society awaits. Before Vanessa could ask a question, the woman was gone. That night, Vanessa lay awake on her thin mattress, the golden card glowing under the dim bulb. She turned it over again and again. Kem noticed her restlessness. Vanessa, what's wrong? You've been quiet. Vanessa forced a smile. Nothing. Just work stress. But inside, her thoughts raged. Golden Flame Society. Who are they? Why me? What do they want? Days turned into weeks. Every time she rode in a crowded Danfo bus, sweating beside hawkers, the memory of those women's silk gowns haunted her. Every time she watched her boss hand millions to rich clients while she earned scraps, Serafina's words echoed, you belong at the table. Finally, curiosity broke her. One evening, She called the number printed faintly on the card. A voice answered, "We've been expecting you." She didn't go to Banana Island immediately, that would have been suspicious. Instead, they arranged to meet her at a discreet lounge in Ikoyi, hidden behind tinted glass. Inside, only a dozen women sat, but the air was thick with perfume and power. They greeted her warmly, their jewelry gleaming, their voices smooth. At the center sat the golden woman she had first seen, Madame Serafina. "Welcome, Vanessa," she said. "You have been chosen. But choice comes with price. Are you ready?" Vanessa swallowed. "What kind of price?" The women leaned in as Serafina raised 2 fingers. Option 1, sacrifice. A direct offering, blood of someone tied to you. Quick. Irreversible. You rise while they fall. Vanessa froze, her breath catching. Blood. Kill someone she loved. The thought made her skin crawl. Option 2, the gift. We place power in your hands. A necklace, a bag, a phone. You must give it to someone you love. Once they use it, your wealth flows. They weaken while you rise. Slowly. Silently. That is balance. The room was quiet. Only the soft hiss of the air conditioner filled the silence. Vanessa's hands trembled in her lap. Sacrifice or gift? Serafina asked, her eyes piercing. Vanessa couldn't decide. That night she dreamed of blood, of holding a knife against someone she loved. She woke sweating, horrified. "No, never," she whispered. "I can't kill anyone." But then, as she took the bus to work and watched a rich woman glide past in a Mercedes, the second option tempted her. A gift. Simple. Clean. Who would know? Weeks passed. She avoided Serafina's calls. She told herself she needed time. But every day her envy grew as she compared her life to others. Finally, after a month of torment, she picked up her phone and whispered the words that sealed her fate. "I choose the gift." When she returned to the society's next meeting, Serafina smiled like a mother welcoming a child. "You have chosen wisely," she said. From a velvet box, she lifted a golden necklace. It shimmered faintly under the light, delicate yet heavy with mystery. "Give this to the one you love most," Serafina whispered. "Once she wears it, your doors will open." Vanessa's throat tightened. Nkem's face filled her mind, her best friend, her sister, her everything. She hesitated. But envy whispered louder, why should she stay ahead of you with her peace, her contentment? You deserve more. Vanessa's hands reached out. She took the necklace. That night, Vanessa sat watching Nkem stir a pot of rice, her laughter filling the small room. Vanessa's hand touched the box in her pocket. Her chest ached, her eyes stung with tears. She whispered under her breath, "Forgive me, my sister. But I can't stay small forever." Vanessa pulled the box from her bag that night, her smile tight, her chest heavy. "Nkem," she said softly, "I got you something." Nkem turned from the pot of rice on the stove, her eyes widening. "Something? For me? On this salary?" She laughed lightly, shaking her head. "Vanessa, you joke too much." But when Vanessa opened the box and the golden necklace caught the dim kitchen light, Nkem's laughter faded into silence. Her hand covered her mouth. "Jesus," she whispered. "Vanessa, this must cost a fortune." Vanessa forced a laugh. "Don't worry about that. You've always been there for me. Let me spoil you for once." Nkem's eyes watered. "Vanessa, you shouldn't." "Don't argue," Vanessa cut in, pressing the necklace into her hands. "Just wear it. It suits you." And with trembling fingers, Nkem clasped it around her neck. The moment the chain touched her skin, Vanessa felt a strange shiver run through her body like a door opening far away. The next morning, Vanessa woke earlier than usual. She had barely slept. In the silence of dawn, She packed her clothes into a small suitcase. When Kem stirred from sleep, she found Vanessa dressed and ready. "Vanessa, where are you going?" Vanessa looked away, her voice calm but distant. I need to travel. To the village. Just for a while. Some family issues." Kem sat up, confused. "But you didn't tell me before." "I didn't want to worry you," Vanessa said quickly. She forced a smile. "Take care of yourself. And keep that necklace safe, okay? It looks beautiful on you." Before Kem could respond, Vanessa hugged her tightly, tighter than ever before, then pulled away. By evening, she was gone. What Kem didn't know was that Vanessa hadn't traveled to the village at all. Instead, she had moved into a new apartment across town, a bigger, finer place, furnished with things she never could have afforded before. She cut ties completely, leaving Kem behind without explanation. At first, Kem wore the necklace with pride. She touched it often, smiling, telling herself how lucky she was to have such a friend. But slowly, almost too subtly to notice, changes began. She started forgetting things. At work, she misplaced files, missed deadlines. Her boss frowned, warning her gently at first, then more harshly. At home, her appetite vanished. Food lost its taste. Sleep fled from her eyes. She lay awake at night staring at the ceiling, her thoughts jumbled and restless. She blamed stress. She blamed Lagos. Never, for a moment, did she suspect the necklace. Meanwhile, Vanessa's life transformed overnight. Her new apartment was paid for in cash. Opportunities fell into her lap, side businesses, invitations to parties she once only dreamed of. She dressed in designer clothes, carried handbags that made strangers stare, rode in Ubers like she had shares in the company. Every morning she stood before her mirror, adjusting her jewelry, whispering, "This is only the beginning." Yet sometimes, in the quiet of night, when laughter from her new circle of friends died down, she saw Kem's face in her mind. Peaceful, trusting, innocent. She shook it away. Sacrifices must be made, she told herself. She will be fine. Weeks turned into months, and the necklace clung to her neck like a shadow. She never removed it, it felt too precious, too sacred, a gift of love. Her mind grew weaker. She forgot names, dates, even where she kept her own keys. She stopped going out, stopped answering calls. Her neighbors whispered about her strange behavior. One afternoon, she walked into the middle of the street, staring blankly as cars screeched around her. When people shouted, she only laughed softly, like a child lost in a dream. At work, she broke down completely, muttering nonsense during a meeting until her boss asked her to go home indefinitely. By the third month, Nkem was no longer the girl Vanessa had left behind. She was a hollow shell, drifting through life, her mind slipping further into the darkness each day. And Vanessa? She did not return. She sent no calls, no visits, no explanations. She buried the past in her new luxury, surrounding herself with wealthy women who called her sister and men who showered her with gifts. But somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered, "You gave her the necklace. You left her behind. She is losing her mind because of you." Vanessa silenced the voice with shopping trips and champagne. But guilt has a way of waiting. Vanessa was at a rooftop restaurant in Victoria Island when her phone buzzed. Laughter from her new circle of friends echoed around her, glasses clinking, perfume thick in the air. She glanced at the screen, an unknown number. She almost ignored it, but something pressed her to answer. "Hello." A man's urgent voice crackled through. "Are you Vanessa? Friend of Nkem?" Vanessa froze. "Yes, why? You need to come. It's serious. She has collapsed. She's not well." Her hand tightened on the phone. For the first time in months, the world around her blurred. When Vanessa arrived at the dingy one-room apartment she once shared with Nkem, her chest constricted. Nkem sat on the floor, her hair wild, her eyes empty. She rocked back and forth, muttering nonsense to herself, the golden necklace glinting against her neck. The sight cut Vanessa like a knife, her once bright, gentle friend now a broken shell. A neighbor approached cautiously. "Madam, she has been like this for weeks. Nobody knows what happened. We searched for your number inside her old diary. You're the only one she wrote as next of kin." Vanessa nodded stiffly, her throat dry. "We can't keep her here," the neighbor said. "Maybe take her to her mother in the village. Perhaps she can help." That night, Vanessa sat in her car with Nkem slumped beside her, whispering incoherently. Her mind battled itself. "Take her to her mother," one voice urged. "The woman will pray. She will find a way to heal her child." But another voice hissed louder. "If you take her there, her mother may notice the necklace. She will remove it. And if that necklace leaves her neck, your wealth ends." Vanessa's hands trembled on the steering wheel. She looked at Nkem, drooling slightly, her once radiant face lost to madness. Tears stung Vanessa's eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "But I cannot lose everything now. I've come too far." Instead of driving east toward the village, Vanessa drove across the city to her new mansion, the mansion that shimmered like a crown of her new life. She carried Nkem inside, past marble floors and sparkling chandeliers, into a secluded wing of the house. There, she opened the door to a spare room, beautiful on the outside, but cold, isolated, with barred windows. She laid Nkem on the bed, whispering softly, "Rest, my sister. You'll be safe here." But as she closed the door, locking it with a heavy key, her words twisted into lies. Because she wasn't keeping Nkem safe. She was keeping her wealth safe. Days turned to weeks. Nkem remained locked in that room, her mind lost, her voice echoing nonsense that drifted down the mansion's halls at night. Sometimes she laughed, sometimes she cried, sometimes she banged the door until her hands bled. Vanessa ensured she was fed, clothed, and kept alive, but never free. Outside, Vanessa's life soared. Her businesses multiplied, men chased her, her name was spoken in high places. Guests marveled at her mansion, never knowing that behind one locked door, madness lived. And every time Vanessa passed that room, the sound of Nkem's mutterings pierced her heart like thorns. But she told herself the same thing every time. Sacrifices must be made. She would have held me back anyway. Sometimes, Vanessa stood at the door, listening. She would hear Nkem whispering her name, soft and broken. "Vanessa. Vanessa, my sister." Her eyes would fill with tears, but her hands never turned the key. Instead, she adjusted her expensive gown, wiped her face, and walked out to meet the world, her makeup perfect, her smile dazzling, her heart chained by greed. In the weeks after Nkem collapsed, word reached her mother in the village. Alarmed, the old woman made her way to Lagos. She visited neighbors, searched hospitals, and finally learned the truth. Vanessa had come and taken her daughter. Heart pounding, she dialed Vanessa's number. The phone rang. Vanessa saw the name, Maman Nkem. Her chest tightened, her thumb hovered over the screen, and then she pressed reject. The old woman tried again. Again. And again. But each time, Vanessa ignored it, her face stiff, her heart whispering, "If she finds her, she will remove the necklace. And I will lose everything." When days turned into weeks with no answers, Nkem's mother returned to the village, her heart heavy. "God," she prayed, "if my daughter still breathes, send her help." In Vanessa's mansion, Nkem remained locked away. Her hair was matted, her clothes torn, her voice a broken echo that wandered through the halls at night. Sometimes she cried. Sometimes she laughed like a child. Sometimes she screamed until her throat bled. The other servants whispered, They thought Vanessa was hiding a sick relative, but no one dared ask questions. Vanessa's wealth and temper were too sharp to challenge. "Keep her alive," Vanessa ordered coldly. "Feed her." But no one opens that door. And so Nkem's days rotted away in darkness, while Vanessa's parties filled the nights with music and laughter. Among the servants was a young woman named Mary. Quiet, humble, but with a heart too soft to ignore suffering. Every day she carried food to the locked room, sliding trays through the narrow gap. One night, after Vanessa had traveled abroad for a business deal, Mary stood outside the door. The sound of Nkem's cries shook her bones. "Please," Nkem's voice cracked. "Help me. I'm dying here." Mary's hands trembled. She knew the risk. Vanessa's wrath could destroy her life. But her conscience screamed louder. "This is not life. This is wickedness." That night, Mary made her choice. She waited until the other staff were asleep. Then she distracted the guard with a false alarm at the gate, slipped back inside, and with a hammer in her hands, broke the lock on the forbidden door. The noise was loud, but her determination was louder. The door swung open. Nkem lay on the floor, her body frail, her eyes wild. But when the door cracked open, a flicker of recognition sparked within her. "Mary," she whispered. Mary knelt, tears streaming down her face. "SSH, you're safe now. I'll take you away from here." Her eyes fell on the golden necklace still hanging around Nkem's neck. She reached out and unclasped it. The moment the chain left Nkem's skin, a gasp tore from her lips. She clutched her chest, blinking rapidly. Her muttering slowed. Her laughter stopped. For the first time in months, her eyes cleared. Where am I?" she whispered, voice trembling. Mary pulled her into her arms. "You're free, my sister. You're free." Mary wasted no time. Under cover of night, she smuggled Nkem out of the mansion, carrying her like precious cargo. They traveled eastward until they reached Nkem's mother's compound in the village. When the old woman saw her daughter stumble into the yard, weak but alive, she fell to her knees, weeping. "Chinik, my daughter, my child." Nkem clung to her, tears streaming. "Mama, I thought I was lost forever." The mother prayed over her, day and night. Slowly, Nkem regained her strength, her laughter, her mind. The necklace, the curse, the darkness all gone. And Vanessa. When she returned days later and found the room broken, her fury was like fire. She screamed at the servants, demanded answers. But Kyoma was already gone, vanished with Nkem into safety. But then, slowly, things began to unravel. Her biggest business deal collapsed overnight. Banks froze her accounts. Influential women who once praised her stopped answering her calls. Even her new sisters in the Golden Flame Society turned their faces away, whispering, she failed. She could not hold her sacrifice. Her cars were seized, her mansion emptied, her clothes sold off for debts. One by one, the treasures she had traded Nkem for slipped through her fingers like sand. Vanessa tried to hold on. She wore her own jewelry tighter, applied her makeup thicker, laughed louder at empty parties. But inside, guilt gnawed at her. At night, she began to hear Nkem's voice, soft at first, then louder. "Vanessa, my sister, why did you do it?" She would wake screaming, tearing at her sheets. Servants left, neighbors whispered, creditors banged at her gates. Finally, one morning, the mansion stood empty. Vanessa wandered the streets of Lagos barefoot, her hair wild, her once beautiful face twisted in madness. She muttered to herself, clutching her throat as if the necklace still hung there. "Don't take it off, don't take it off. If she removes it, I lose everything." People who once bowed at her feet now crossed the road to avoid her. The queen had fallen. Back in the village, Nkem sat under the mango tree, her laughter returned, her peace restored. Her mother sat beside her, stroking her hair, whispering prayers of thanks. When villagers asked about Vanessa, the old woman shook her head slowly. She was swallowed by her own envy. And Nkem, with tears in her eyes, said softly, "Not every gift is love. Some gifts are chains. Some smiles are poison." Far away, in the bustling streets of Lagos, Vanessa's laughter echoed not the laughter of power, but the hollow laughter of madness. Envy can destroy even the strongest friendship. Not every gift is love, some gifts are chains in disguise. If you were Nkem, and your best friend betrayed you this way, would you ever forgive her? Tell me what you think in the comments below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this story touched you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next powerful African story. Remember, not every gift is a blessing, sometimes it's a curse in disguise.